I'd like to introduce today's panelists. We have a very esteemed panel today. Joining us would be Ms. Indu Sharma. She's an attorney and barrister at law, managing partner of Nat Sharma and Company, which is a growing commercial practice that focuses on conveyance, corporate law, probate. Indu has over 30 years experience in the areas of commercial law, energy, and banking, having spent much of her career at an executive level and board levels of Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector. Indu holds an LLB with honors from the University College of London. She's an LLM in corporate and commercial law from Queen Mary College, University of London, and a diploma in corporate governance from Caribbean Corporate Governance Institute. Next on the panel, we have Nigel Jordan. Mr. Jordan has over 20 years experience in the telecommunications industry. He's been involved in many facets of this rapidly growing and developing industry: customer service, records management, IT, digital marketing, all some of his expertise. At the end of his tenure as an employee of TSTT, Nigel was responsible for the digital presence of that company's brand. I mean, while working on a craft project with his son, Isaac, the idea for his own business was born. Participation in Kariri's business hatchery program would have helped him move that product from idea to homegrown garden ingredients to business producing market-ready products. Over the years, Twigs Naturals, that's Nigel's business, has gotten support from multiple agencies such as IICA, Export TT, and ColaCap. And last but not least is our very own CEO of JMMB Investments, Ms. Trisha Kisoon. Trisha Kisoon is the CEO, like I said, of JMMB Investments and JMMB Securities. She joined our team in March of 2020. She has more than 15 years experience in the financial services sector. Trisha's passion and drive have established her as an expert in the field of investments, and her focus has primarily been on the asset management side for mutual funds and insurance portfolios. Trisha holds a Master's of Business Administration from Edinburgh Business School and a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics and Finance from the University of the West Indies. Her academic qualifications, coupled with her hands-on experience, has honed her into a skillful leader focused on developing and empowering her team members and improving the financial well-being of clients by delivering exceptional client experience. So we have a very esteemed and well-versed panel that's set up to take your questions, and some of the discussion points that we would try to get across here today. So I'd like to direct the first question to Ms. Indu Sharma, and the first question is: what is governance, and why it's important to SMEs?
Thank you very much, Roshan. Good evening, everyone. It's really a privilege to be here and to participate in this seminar and to be part of the JMMB, the extended JMMB family. So I would like to start from the point of view that, in our Caribbean societies, there are we have a culture of entrepreneurship, and our people really pride ourselves on being very, very creative, innovative. People pride themselves about being their own boss. Many have specific skills that are not easy to find, and many people have passion for an idea that they develop in their own business. And this is partly what I would describe as the entrepreneurial mindset. An entrepreneurial mindset is one that can see an opportunity and seize an opportunity, and can, through leadership, really execute on that and really bring it to life. And what we are seeing in the Caribbean is those entrepreneurs come into being through family businesses and so on, like Nigel, who we've just met. And the control of the business really resides within that individual, that entrepreneur, one or two individuals at most, okay? And that decision making is quick because it's just the individual who's involved in that. I know lots of young entrepreneurs, one in particular, let's just call her Lena as an example, who's running a luxury beauty products business. And she's doing that part-time, holding down a full-time job, making the products, designing the look of the product, the packaging, the putting together all the distribution, accounting, running up and down, delivering. She's also running the social media for the product. And that it's a lot. It takes a lot. And she's not alone. There are many, many entrepreneurs who have, innate passion, talent, skills as small manufacturers, artisans, artists, service providers as well. And they have their hand in every pie, every aspect of the business. And they don't necessarily have time to think about what's the next step, what's the next opportunity, how are they going to expand, and how do they plan for that, and how are they going to grow their business. So the real question for entrepreneurs is, where do you want to go? Where do you want to take the business? What is the next level for your business? And entrepreneurs have to ask themselves, what is their goal? Is it just to pay bills? And I don't think that's the case, right? It is more than that. It is something about building a product, building a brand, building a service line, expanding that business in some way that may be able to be monetized in the future. And it might even go beyond that, and it might even be building a legacy. So that's sort of a contextual, background for entrepreneurship. And as I see it in the Caribbean, governance is really about how a business is run, how it is directed, and how it is controlled, and what are the systems and structures in place that allow the organization, the business, to function. And what are the mechanisms by which the business and the people within it, the actors in the business, how do they operate, and how are they held to account, right? And how do the people in the business access information about the current state of the business itself, and what are its business prospects? So that's sort of a framework. The governments really can, provide a framework for your business. Businesses themselves don't exist in a vacuum. A business is an ecosystem, right? With owners of the business, those people who manage it, the people who are employed by it, the products, the services that they provide, and you have help and input from suppliers. You live within a community and you're subject to laws and regulations. And good governance actually helps business manage all these relationships. So good governance shores up that ecosystem and creates an environment for growth and sustainability. So wherever you want to create sustainable growth, I want to suggest a couple of things that will help along the way. First of all, you need to identify the mission. What's the mission in your business? What are the priorities that you're going to be taking forward in that mission? Who are the key stakeholders and the parties that are going to help you achieve that mission? Do you monitor the execution on that plan? And do you have the resources in place, including financial resources, to execute on that plan? You may also want to consider what you're not going to do, things that you're going to defer, and things that you will postpone or not do at all. And you might have to say no, for example. And then also, how are you going to measure yourself in success, right? How are you going to measure yourself as to whether you actually achieve those goals? And those things, those few points are really, in essence, they outline what a board of directors can do for you, for your business. So that's kind of linking entrepreneurship with structure in terms of governance and articulating what a board can do for you. I hope that has somewhat answered the question.
You did. I mean, I was just about to highlight, my old boss used to say, structure follows strategy. And I never really understood what that meant, of course, until now we have greater context, right? I mean, I guess with businesses, as you said, your business owners and entrepreneurs so focused on the business itself and making it successful that they really think about, as you say, the future and what expansion could look like if it is that I add more people and I add more structure to my business. Yeah. So I kind of think you went in a little bit into what the second question was. But maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about why is it important to have a board of advisors and a board of directors, and probably where would one start in kind of finding candidates for those things?
Yes. So, we do have this culture of entrepreneurship, but I want to suggest that with family businesses and, single business owners, it's kind of a culture of control, that everything, all the decision making resides with that individual, that entrepreneur. And very often entrepreneurs make it on their own despite the odds, and success comes their way, right? Because of hard work and because of their passion and, the steps that they take. And sometimes this prevents them as leaders from appreciating the value of what a board can do and what advisors can do, and how a board can support the business. People say to me sometimes, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm doing really well. Why fix something that's not broken? Okay, I've done this on my own. So why do I need external advisors? Why do I need a board? And the thing about it is that management structures and control systems are really key to survival and sustainability of a business over the long term, especially in challenging economic times, and where there may be unforeseen risks and tough decisions having to be made. Entrepreneurs, I find, also are very passionate, as I mentioned, and this is their baby. We're going to have Nigel talk about how he grew his business, and this is really his baby. And so sometimes it is difficult to let go a little bit, right? But it is good to have someone who can have a rational view and take a realistic view of the state and the health of the business. And external advisors like accountants, auditors, lawyers can provide that kind of support and create that proper control of risks, and allow some level of protection from external or internal threats even as well. So no matter how talented and skilled you are as an entrepreneur, it's also not for the faint of heart. It's very stressful, and it can take a physical toll on your mental well-being and your physical health as well. And there's a difference, between directors and external advisors. I want to suggest that directors share more of the responsibility of the business, because they will have an internal view of the business because of the information that is provided to them as directors. And they also have a legal responsibility to make decisions that are in the best interest of the company. So that's a little bit of the difference between an external advisor and a director of a company. An external advisor can perhaps take more of a dispassionate view, and a director can perhaps look at things with more information, more background as well. Now, there is a perception that external advisors and directors can slow down decision-making processes, you lose agility and that kind of thing. And I think more importantly as well, and more seriously, in a small society like ours, where we have a highly competitive business environment, some entrepreneurs may find it difficult to trust other people, advisors or directors with highly sensitive commercial information. But I would want to offer that, based on the success stories that I've seen of entrepreneurship in the energy sector, you will see success being had and achieved where you have support to your business. So for example, many service companies are looking to Guyana now with their gas finds to get involved in business in Guyana. But understanding the opportunity in Guyana, which is a different environment from Trinidad, understanding who the stakeholders are, understanding when to make that investment, when to make that decision to invest and go into a different country, are some of the issues that these entrepreneurs have faced. And it's been slow, but the ones that have been successful have had clear strategic oversight by boards of directors and have partnered with stakeholders such as external advisors, financiers, bankers, and other types of investors to actually enter this environment successfully. So a board complement as well does not always have to be, a large number of people. It could be one or two directors, and it has to fit the size of your business as well. So, we should not dismiss them out of hand. We should embrace and look for opportunities to find the right people who can be valuable assets to business. After all, board directors bring their networks, they bring value. And, the question of control can be addressed through delegation of authority, where entrepreneurs can still have the authority and the autonomy to run their businesses as they see fit.
We actually have a question in the chat, and I guess it's right along the lines of what you were speaking about. In the case of family business, where ownership is vested in 2 generations of a family, where should these types of companies look for external advice? Is a board necessary, or will external advisors be sufficient? I think you were saying it, in your context, that there are different, advisors are external to the business, and, the board is internal. So maybe we could kind of speak along those lines. There's a question as well from Kadeen Lynch. We will take that question just after. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Roshan. It really depends on the business. And, the thing about governance is one size does not fit all. You have to tailor your governance framework and what is appropriate for your business. You must understand your business and go with what is appropriate for your business. Now, I would say that both external advisors and directors can be powerful allies to your business, but their rules are different. And so, for example, the issue of financial controls would be related to, whether you need to have an external audit to your company in order to protect it from fraud, for example. And that really relies on the nature of your business. But it's often a matter of going from control of the business by one individual singularly to a question of oversight and controls. And oversight, meaning strategic oversight from directors, and controls maybe from a combination of directors and auditors or external advisors that can help you with the management of risks in your business. So really, I would just say, if I had to sum it up in a little motto, it would be control to controls. So control from one person to controls by a combination of support, and also looking at, the strategic direction in the business and risk management.
Okay, thank you so much, Indu. I'd just like to ask Nigel to chime in a little bit on his experience on this question, in terms of, how he sees this impact in his business from the entrepreneurial side. Yeah. Whether or not you think adding advisories or structure to your business would slow you down or reduce your ability to be as agile as you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, it's a new year. Blessings to all. Thanks for the opportunity. In the case of the entrepreneur, now, I'd like to make things really practical. There's a fundamental difference between being on the hustle and making a decision between whether you spend something, these $5 on a raw material now, versus finding a way to invest it in a piece of machinery down the road. And those are the types of decisions entrepreneurs are faced with on a day-to-day basis. Yes, you might hear all the academic importance of a board and all these sorts of things, but when it comes down to brass tacks, you have to be able to survive. So what we've done within Twigs Naturals from the beginning, because the intention was always to look down the road, we've had a board. And what we've done is, by virtue of association with other entities, so for example, Export TT, we're part of the SME Resource Center. We have an attorney on quick call as well. From a processing and manufacturing perspective, we have the folks at Kariri as we were part of their business hatchery program. What we found is, myself being in the operational day-to-day side of the business and direct, really quick interaction with the rest of the board, it allows for us to be agile as a sole proprietor would be. So we kind of straddle best of the both worlds. We understand the importance of the long term. We understand the importance of the board. But what we found is a quick call and having these people close by. We've burnt and learned that these are people you need to have in your corner, in your back pocket, so to speak. And they help in maintaining a sense of level head, in maintaining an understanding from an objective perspective as to what can happen, what are the implications, and really give you a nice balanced perspective before you make the big ticket decisions.